Hello my JHS One students, you are welcome to today's topic. Now you can see that last week we looked at frequency table, but today I have to go back to decimals, and as you can see I've indicated that what we are revising. I've just selected some of these questions from the breaks assignment, the break that we all had, that I gave you a lot of assignments. And I can see that these are some of the things that you people don't understand. So every week I'll choose some questions and explain to you. Okay, now today we are looking, the first thing we are looking at is write the following numbers in standard form. Write the following numbers in standard form. And I remember that when we were studying standard form, I taught you significant numbers. And we mentioned that, let's move here, we mentioned that 0, 0, 0, 3, 1, 0, 2. We mentioned that any 0 that starts before a number, I know there's about from 1 to whatever, 9 or whatever, any 0 that starts, this 0 is not considered as what? A significant number. These zeros, they are not considered as what? Significant number. It is only the zeros that are in between two numbers, so 1, 2. Then now this 0 is considered as what? A significant number. So if I ask you how many significant numbers are there, I don't expect you to count 1, 2, 3. But I want you to start from the first number, which is what? 3. So you have what? 3, 1, 0, and 2. So in this number, the numbers are what? 4 significant numbers. Okay, so we are talking about counting numbers. So we have 3, 1, 0, 2. So these zeros that are starting are not significant numbers. Why am I talking about this? Now, when I ask you to change 0.004, I realized that what some of you were doing is, if I ask you to change this to standard form, you people move the point, to the 0. No, this is wrong. You do 1, 2. 0.42 is not standard form, because 0 is not the significant, it's not the first significant number. The first significant number is what? 4. And the decimal point in standard form must always move to the first significant number. So this is not in standard form, because 0 here is not a significant number. So you have to move the point to the first significant number. Then now your answer is what? 4.2. So this is standard form. And you know that standard form, you always multiply it by what? 10. Then you must have a power. One thing that I realized that some of you don't understand, the rule in standard form is that when the decimal point is moving from the left to the right, your power must be a negative number. Write this down. When the decimal point is moving from the left to the right, your power must be negative. But when your decimal point is moving from the right to the left, your power must be a positive number. I realized that some of you were moving from the left to the right and still telling me that your power is 10 raised to the power positive 2. It is wrong. From the left to the right will always give you a negative power. Okay, let's take the first question. Now, you know that anytime a number is standing on its own, there is an original negative point here, decimal point here. This is not in standard form. They said write this in standard form. So that means you have to move this decimal point to the first significant number starting from your left. So let's move. 1, 2, 3. So our decimal point is here. So now we have what? 1.342 times 10 raised to the power what? We move from the left to the right. So our power must be what? A positive number. How many times did we move? 3. From the right to the left. We move from the right to the left. So our power must be what? Positive. How many times did we move? 1, 2, 3. So 1.342 times 10 raised to the power what? 3. So this is your answer. Let's pick this one. This is not in standard form. Why? Because the decimal point is not right behind the first significant number starting from your left hand side. The first significant number is what? 3. So if we want to write this in standard form, we have to move this point to the first, right behind the first significant number. So now our answer is what? 3.41. Bring the 1 times, how many times did we move? We moved only once, times 10 raised to the power what? Positive 1. Why positive 1? Because we move from the right to the left. Please put these rules in your head. Let's look at the last question under this one. Write this in standard form. Is this in standard form? No. Why? Because the decimal point is not right behind the first significant number. This 0 is not a significant number. This 0 is not. This 0 is not. Because they are all starting. They are not counting numbers. They are just whole numbers. The first one counting number is what? 4. So you have to move this decimal point to the first counting number, which is what? 4. So let's move. 1, 2, 3. So the decimal point comes here, and you have 4.3216. How many times did we move? We moved 1, 2, 3 times 10 raised to the power -3. Why? Because we moved from the left to the right. So our power must be what? Negative. So this is just revision. This is what our this week's assignment is going to be on. So this is just revision. So don't repeat these mistakes again. Now let's look at this second question here. One mistake that I realized you people were doing is, this question is very easy. They said 6,287 times 543. They said the product. When you hear product, you know that they did what? They multiplied. They said the product is what? 3,413,841. When they multiply these two numbers, this is the product. And now they say that find 628.7 times 5.3. You realize that it is the same numbers here. It is the same numbers here. This is the same. 6 here, 2 here, 8 here, 7 here, 5 here, 4 here, 3 here. It is the same numbers. You know that the wasting of time people were doing. You people came again and this says 28.7 times 5.43. You are wasting your time. Why are you doing this when it is the same numbers that have been given to you? The only thing is that just count the number of decimal places. I'm saying because it is the same numbers, so only because it is the same numbers. That is why we are doing this. You don't need to come and multiply again. All you have to do is count the number of decimal places in each of them. How many decimal places do we have here? 1. How many decimal places do we have here? 1, 2. So 2 and 3. So you have 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So just come to the product they have already given you and move your decimal point. How many times? 3 times. So the decimal point is always originally here. So 1, 2, 3. This is your answer. So your answer is 3,413.841. Do you see how simple it is? So please note this one because you are all making that mistake. Okay, next question. This question, a lot of people were not understanding. Now, the trick here is that you are using the idea of standard form, but we want these numbers to be whole numbers. So we want to get 12 here, we want to get 8 here, and we want to get 24 here. What do we do? Standard form. Now this time around, we are using the idea. I'm not saying we are using standard form. The idea of standard form. Now the idea is what? Let's move the decimal point to here to have a whole number, which is what? 12. So that means this one we're also moving the decimal point to here to have 8. We are moving the decimal point here to have what? 24. When I get here, I will explain this to you. So let's move. So we are moving 1, 2. So we have 12 here because our point is now here. Now, how many times did we move? 2 times. And because you are moving from the left to the right, the power must be what? Negative. So 1, 2. So times 10 raised to the power negative 2. Then you bring your multiplication sign here. The same applies here. 1, 2. So we have 8. 8.0. Even if you bring an 8.0 is the same as 8. How many times did we move? 1, 2. So we have what? Times 10 raised to the power negative 2 over. Now let's come here. I'm moving my decimal point here to the last significant number because 24.0 is the same as what? 24. So you move it to the last significant number. Don't move it here. So you have what? How many times did we move? We moved once and to the left. So you have 24 times 10 raised to the power what? Negative 1. Okay. Now, so now at this point, the next thing you do is that you group all common numbers. So whole number will go for whole number and base will go for base. So we have 12 times 8. Please do this for me in the assignment. You are grouping them. 12 times 8 times 10 raised to the power negative 2. Then you pick this one 2 times 10 raised to the power negative 2. Please don't put division when there is multiplication sign here. All divided by 24 times 10 raised to the power what? Negative 1. Now when you get here, what are you doing? This place, you are going to cancel out. 8 goes into itself 1. 8, 3, 24. 3 will go into itself 1. 3, 4, 12. Cancel so that the teacher knows that you cancelled yourself. You see how I have cancelled? You also have to show that you cancelled yourself. And you have to write the numbers boldly for me to see. So we have 4 times law of indices, numbers of the same base. When they are multiplied, what do you do to their power? You add. So we are adding negative 2 and negative 2. What they call 2? What's our papa will be 2 CDB? See how can they saying 4 CDs? A cabia is negative, so negative 4. All divided by this one. We are only left with 1 here. Don't forget. So you can either bring 1 times what? 10 raised to the power negative 1. Then you know that this over is the same as what? Divided, division. So you can come here 4 times 10 raised to the power negative 4. All divided by what? 10 raised to the power negative 1. Numbers of the same base, when they are divided, what do you do to their power? You subtract. So you have 4 times 10 minus 4 minus 1. You are already subtracting, and this one is already what? A negative 1. You know that when minus and minus come together, you get what? A positive. So you have 4 times 10 raised to the power what? Negative 5. Hey. Negative 4 plus 1. Negative minus negative will give us positive. So 4 times 4, 10 raised to the power. What they call 4? What could you? Addition means you are going to pay. What could you? What they can say? Minus 3. So this is your answer. This is your answer. Or when you finish, you can leave it at 0.004. 4 times 10 raised to the power negative 3 is the same as what? 0.004. Watch. 1, 2, 3. Back. You get the same as this one. So you can leave your answer like this or leave your answer like this. So the camera will go so that you can copy it quickly. You can copy what I've done quickly whilst we do the next question. Okay, the next question. Now, just as we did this one, we have to change this one to what? A whole number. So the decimal point must come to the last number, must come here, must come here, must come here. So let's do that. This space, how many times are we moving? 1, 2. Because you are moving from the left to the right, your power must be what? Negative. So you have 7 times 10 raised to the power -2 times, how many times is this one moving? Once. And because it's moving from the left to the right, our power will be what? A negative number. So times 6 times 10 raised to the power -1. All over, how many times is this one moving? 1, 2, 3. So we have what? 14 times 10 raised to the power what? -3. All times what? How many times is this one moving to the 3? Once. So you have 3 times 10 raised to the power -1. When you get here, what do? You group the numbers. So you have 7 times 6 times 10 raised to the power -2 times 10 raised to the power -1. All over 14 times 3 times 10 raised to the power -3 times 10 raised to the power -1. What do? We cancel out. 7 goes into itself once. Cancel out for me to see. 7 goes here twice. 3 goes into itself once. 3, 2, 6. 2 goes into itself once. And 2 here, 1. So what do we see? That all our cancellations have been fully done. So all our answers here are what? 1. Everything has cancelled out everything. So what we are left with is what? The bases and the powers. So let's do, you come down here, numbers of the same base, when they are multiplied, what do you do to their power? You add. What they call 2. What's our called 2? When you add, what they call saying? -3. All divided. I told that over is the same as division. What they call 3. What's our called 1? So say, okay, what they are saying? Okay, what they are 4 cities. 80. We have what? 10 minus 4. Then you come down, numbers of the same base, when they are divided, what do you do to the power? You subtract. So you have 10 minus 3 minus, this one is originally a -4, so you have to bring the -4 again. Do you understand? So let me do it down here. Our final answer is what they call 3. Now you know that this one becomes -3 and this one becomes a +4. Okay, so you can bring this your 1 here, so your 1 times this one, what they call 3, which you have 4, so you have 1. What they call 3, now what you have 4, so now you have a 1, which is a bonus for you. That is why the 1 is not a negative. My member of 4 city now put you at 3 cities. So when gaining 1 city out of your debt, so now your answer is what? 10 raised to the power +1. So this one that I brought, you can bring your 1 here too. So 1 times this, 1 times this. The 1 is gotten from the cancellation that I did here. So I brought my 1 here, I brought my 1 here, I can bring my 1 times here, then my final answer is 1 times 10 raised to the power 1. Okay. Now the last thing, which is this one. Okay. Now the last thing is what? This one. Express 3.75 as a mixed fraction. Okay. Now, 3.75 as a mixed fraction. You know that this 3.75 is written as 375. Anytime you see a decimal, that means the denominator will either be a power of 10 either 10, 100,000 or so on. So this one will be over what? 100. Because how many decimal places do we have here? We have 2. So 0, 0, making it over 100. You cancel out. Now, cancel out for me to see. You can use 5 to cancel out, but I'll quickly use 25. So 25 will cancel 375 15 times. So 15. And 25 will cancel 100 what? 4 times. So I want you to cancel for me to see. Be cancelling out for me to see. Now when you get here, there's no number that can cancel 15 and cancel 4. So don't leave your answer as improper fraction. This is improper fraction. Always leave your answers in what? Mixed fraction. So now one multiple of 4 is closer to 15 is 12. So what number times 4 will give you 12? It is 3. Then you have what? 15 minus 12, leaving us with what? 3. So you bring your 3 here and your 4. So your answer is 3 whole number, 3 over 4. I had to bring this question because I realized that some of you don't cancel out for me to see, but you have to cancel out so the teacher will see how you were breaking the numbers down. I quickly went to use 25 to cancel, but you can start from 5. You can use 5 to cancel out, and whilst you are cancelling out, let the teacher see how you did your cancellation. Okay, so this is where we are going to end the topic, the lesson today, and as usual there will be more work on the page. I'll see you all this Friday. Bye.